BB851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
The Boeing 747, also known as the Queen of the Skies, is one of the most easily identifiable aircraft flying today, whether it's an aviation enthusiast or a member of the general public. Almost all have heard of the iconic jet, and is therefore the go-to jet when talking about aviation. However, in the past 2 decades, while its overall impact and legacy has held, its success in an order sense has failed to come as expected. With the launch of the Boeing 747-8, Boeing's answer to Airbus and also to their aging 747-400 coming up short when it came to orders, with around 150 total being ordered since it was first introduced some 15 years ago. Talk recently has surrounded Avatar Airlines. No, not quite that of the movie, but rather a new, up-and-coming airline, if you will, that has quite an ambitious dream. Avatar back in 2019 made headlines following their planned operations, which would be flying 14 Boeing 747-400s across the United States on domestic services. However, they'd then move forward and purchase 30 of the 747-8s, which are of course more fuel efficient, saying its plan is a radical departure from current low-cost competitors that derive their profits entirely by passengers, by using smaller, less comfortable aircraft, and by charging passengers premiums for various amenities that used to be included in the cost of their tickets, i.e. seat selection, baggage, etc. They'd kit these aircraft out with 539 economy seats and then an office class on the upper deck. Routes they planned are included on the graphics shown on your screen now, with flights operating from one side of the country to the other, including New York to Los Angeles and back. With an average ticket price of US $64, many were indeed excited about the potential of it, especially when last week news came out regarding the carrier signing a letter of intent for 30 of the 747-8s, a landmark decision that could have changed the series of the aircraft. I say could have, but why? Stay tuned. In the letter of intent published on the Avatar Airlines website, which the public can indeed view and will be linked in the sources/description area of this video, they said for their proposed transaction the following. Avatar is interested in purchasing 30 new 747-8s passenger version to be delivered within 3 to 5 years, a deal that could be worth over $10 billion to Boeing. The company intends to release its IPO during this time, which would be dedicated for this specific purpose. The timing is right for keeping the 747 alive. Avatar's methods of flying seem something out of a fake airline game though, something we don't really see. They actually described their frequent flyer program as the following. The Fly Free Club requires a one-time registration fee of $49 with a $249 annual membership payment. With this, you can book any Avatar Airlines flight 72 hours prior to the departure time. You'll pretty much just need to pay the taxes and added fees. It's a crazy frequent flyer program when you really think about it. Avatar continued on in their letter of intent document to say, rather than zeroing in on long-haul luxury, we believe Boeing should rethink the aircraft on a cost per available seat mile, ASM, which would result in more people that fly with less airplanes in the sky. So why am I not too confident on this? Well, if you haven't gathered yet, this all seems very much like a dream, rather than simply something that is going to happen. Add the fact that this business model existed prior to Avatar Airlines as family airlines, well, it's rather clear to me that that simply isn't going to get off the air. No pun intended. As stated in their final paragraph of this letter of intent to Boeing, this LOI, letter of intent, does not create a binding agreement between the parties and is offered to Boeing for consideration, without prejudice or consequence. The LOI remains subject to execution of a formalized purchase/sale agreement that will embody all terms and conditions if the parties can agree. And there you have it. That's really the main takeaway from this. They did, of course, put up the document. I believe it was roughly a 3-page document. Lots of interesting information, but right at the end we have the icing on the cake that really debunks everything and highlights that something that's been planned since the 1990s as family airlines before being rebranded to Avatar is simply not going to go ahead. It'd be fantastic to see, and I would really, really like the idea of 747s flying domestically throughout the United States. But in 2020, the way the aviation industry is indeed moving, it is simply not going to happen. What are your thoughts? Do you believe you could see something like this happening, as crazy as it may seem? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, thanks very much for your support, and I'll see you all next time.